guys, here it is. A little advice about solar for your van, especially in the winter. Hi guys, well today I'm going to be talking about solar because it's been on my mind and I've been having some people talk to me about it in the comments, and so I thought since it's a cold December day in 2020, really close to the solstice, this would be a good time to talk about it, seeing as how the days are extremely short right now for everybody, including us here down in sunny California. We still have difficulty keeping our batteries charged due to cold, due to darkness, due to whatever. And so I want to give you guys a few little tips that I have about this. I have done a previous video about my solar system. It's called My Hillbilly Solar System. If you guys haven't watched it, you can check it out. But for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to give you guys some of my experience. This is my second winter living in my van. And my first winter with my own homemade solar system, I did really well, except for I had a battery bank that was a little bit too big for my system. On paper, it looked good. From what I've read, hey, if you've got 100 amp hours of battery, 100 amp hours of solar, or 100 watts of solar will work, but 200 is ideal. So I figured, okay, if I have 200 amp hours of battery, then if I put 375 watts on the roof, then I should be covered, right? Wrong. Did not work very well. First of all, my battery struggled to stay charged, especially when it got really cold. And then on top of that, I added a refrigerator that malfunctioned, and so that killed the battery the rest of the way. It wasn't until I put a smaller battery in here that was only 100 amp hours that I actually got my system to work the way it should. So that may sound counterintuitive to you guys, but the next time I build a rig, I am going to calculate, first of all, how much solar I can put in my budget, and or, because it's so cheap, how much room I have on my roof to be putting said solar panels. And I am going to fill it up as much as I can with solar panels, and then I'm going to go from there. I'm going to see how many amp hours of battery I can have from that many solar. And so it sounds counterintuitive, it sounds backwards, but then at least I will know, okay, now I have X amount of electricity to work with, instead of, oh, I want to run this, this, and this, so that means I need this kind of battery bank. Oops, I don't have enough room for that much solar, or oops, I don't have enough money for that much solar. What can we scale back? Oh, now we're, to me, that's just bumbling around. To me, that's backwards. Okay. And my reasoning for this, of having way more solar than what you need, is first of all, the charge controllers we have nowadays work great. They keep your battery from, being hurt. Whatever excess electricity basically just gets wasted and it doesn't go into your battery, so it doesn't get boiled to death or whatever happens to it. And then on top of that, if you're using a lithium battery, it already has a little onboard system in it if it's a good battery, and it knows when to stop charging as well, so it's not going to hurt itself. So you don't have to worry about that. So the only thing you have to worry about is, what am I going to do with all this extra electricity in the daytime? Which is great. You can do stuff like run a sewing machine, or maybe run a microwave in the daytime. Maybe you can run, a small Instapot or something like that. And then at nighttime, you can tone it down and just sparingly use your batteries. So that's one way you can do it, especially, if you have a lot of solar. But if you don't have enough solar, then you're not going to have any excess, and the battery is just going to be struggling all day long to keep its charge. And then you're not going to be able to use it at all in the daytime, and then you might be able to use a few lights in the nighttime, and to me, that's living miserable. So what I suggest that you guys do, like I said, figure out how much solar that you can afford and how much solar you have space for, and buy it to the hilt. Put that part up there first. Then, you don't have to hook it up first, but figure out how many solar panels you can get on your roof for however reason, and then calculate how much battery you need. And what I suggest is having at least 3 to 1. So if you have 100 amp hours of battery, get 300 watts of solar, okay, or more. And even that extra little 50 watts is going to help you, because if you want to park in the shade in the summertime and not be hot and not have to worry about your batteries charging, that's great, because it'll do it. Trust me, it's done it for me. I parked in the shade all summer long, totally underneath trees, and still charged my batteries this whole summer. If you have a cloudy day, or like 3 or 4 cloudy days in a row, especially in the wintertime when the sun is low in the horizon, even down here down south, it'll still do it, because you're going to have so much solar that, you know, it's basically that much more surface area collecting. And if you have a good charge controller, it knows how to use it. It knows how to collect it all and utilize it for that battery. So that is my suggestion to you guys. That's been my experience over the years. You really, truly need to overcalculate your solar and go from the solar panels back to the battery. And I'm not an expert on solar. If you really want like a real expert opinion on solar, you know, talk to Will Prowse, read his book, get on his forums, get on his YouTube channel. It's called DIY Solar with Will Prowse. He's awesome. I learned a lot of stuff just from watching some of his videos and reading some stuff on my own and that kind of stuff. But really, the experience that I've had building my own system and then like using it and figuring it out. And by the way, I used to have a DC to DC charger hooked up to this thing. And since I put my my 100 amp hour battery in here that I replaced my 200 amp hour one with, I have not hooked up my DC to DC charger because I wanted to see what it would do. And I knew in the summertime it would be okay because I have so much solar. But so far so good. Is we're in the middle of winter. It's going to be the shortest day of the year this week. And my battery is charged. It's at least 13 and over all the time, even when I have stuff hooked up to it in the daytime, because I have so much solar. So that has been my experience. That is something that I'm going to keep. And if and when I do get another rig, I am going to basically figure out how much solar I need first and then go back from there, because that seems to be the most logical thing to me. If I had done that in the first place, and I kind of did a little bit, I figured, well, if you need 200 watts for 200 amp hours, then 300 will be better, and let's just get an extra 75 if we can, or an extra whatever. And that's what I did. I'm glad I did it, because now it's even better on an even smaller battery bank. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to put that out there for you. You know, hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully some good advice, good suggestions. You know, put your thoughts in the comments. I'd like to hear about all that kind of stuff. You know, it might help the community out. But yeah, just keep that kind of stuff in mind, you know. And, you know, this isn't an apartment on wheels. Like, seriously, even if you have like $100,000 rig or $200,000 rig, you still are not going to be able to use as much electricity as you're used to in a sticks and bricks unless you're hooked up. And if you live like me, you don't want to be hooked up. So that's just kind of what you got to think about. So calculate your solar first, get as much as you can. You know, get the minimal amount of battery bank that you can live with, and then the minimal amount of stuff that you need that uses electricity. So it's like a funnel, okay? The top part is the solar, and that's the top part of the funnel. And as it goes down in your rig from your roof, it gets smaller and smaller, okay? And that, to me, is a way to keep it to where you're not miserable. Because at nighttime, if I need to use like a little appliance or something like that, or plug something in, I can, because I have that much battery. And I know in the morning when the sun comes up, even if it's cloudy, my system's going to be charging really well, and my battery's going to bounce right back up there. And like I said, it's been probably about 4 or 5 months now, and I have not had any problems with this battery whatsoever. And it's been staying at 13 and above. And the only time it dipped down was the time that I made that video for you guys about sewing. And it was because I was parked in the shade and I was using a regular old-fashioned 110 appliance. And I got an inverter on here too that I hardly ever use, but you know, it's there if I need it. And yeah, so that's just something for you guys to think about. So like I say, if you have any thoughts about that, please put it in the comments. We'd like to hear you guys' experiences. If you guys have been out there longer than me and have been doing all this stuff longer than me, please put it down. You know, tell me what you guys have had to do. I'd like to know what you guys think, and I know it'll help the rest of us out that haven't been, you know, as experienced in van life or solar or anything else. You know, some of us have been in van life. Like when I first started, I didn't even think about solar. it was like, well, if I couldn't run it on my little cigarette lighter in the front of my car, that was it. I didn't have it, you know. And a lot of us are still like that. So for whatever reason, and whenever they decide that they can do solar, I'm hoping that, you know, our advice and our stuff in the comments is going to help somebody. So yeah, guys, just put it in there. Let everybody know what your experiences have been. And thank you so very much for watching and hanging out with me today. And yeah, and I hope you guys are having a good time this year. And yeah, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you later. All right, bye.